So we are here at the
11th
group first night at the 11th annual Middleburg Film Festival. Joey, you seem to be funny, something very funny.
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, we just saw a really hilarious movie that we're going to talk about in a second. But I'm Clarence Moye.
I'm Joey Moser.
You sure?
No.
And
I'm Mark Johnson.
And we, of course, are all editors at Awards Daily. And
we're on a couch.
We're on a couch in an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. We are recording with two windows behind us, so at any moment, someone from The Strangers may pop in.
Oh, fuck.
What?
The movie scares the shit out of me.
Well, we're literally at that house. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's So, very excited to be here, very happy. Love the Middleburg Film Festival. It's in a quaint town in Middleburg, Virginia. It was Civil War town, Civil War era. Lots of fun things to do, lots of good restaurants on the main street. Not a big town, right? But most everything happens at the Middleburg Film Festival at the Salamander Resort and Spa, which is how did you describe it? This is the first time you've come to this event, Joey, right? So how did you describe it?
I was on the phone with my husband on the ride here, and I was just yelling the phrase, forgive me, quaint as fuck, over and over again. Like, I was like, the road is turning into brick, and then the brick is turning into white ladies with shawls, and it was, quaint as fuck.
The Nancy Myers Film Festival.
It's the Nancy Myers, the film festival.
Yes, that reference totally escaped Mark. But that's okay.
Who's Nancy Myers?
And so Mark first started attending this 2 years ago. I came last year, and this is the first time we've all three been here together. And we're in the kind of just approaching the middle of the festival. Most of the things that we're seeing tomorrow, Saturday, as we're recording, and Sunday are the big films of the festival. But Mark and I came in on Thursday, and we caught up to Anatomy of a Fall, which Mark had already seen in Telluride. I saw half of it for reasons I'm not going to go into. And then today Mark and I saw Priscilla, Sofia Coppola's film with Kaylee Spenny in attendance. We also saw a Coffee and Contenders segment where Jazz Tanguay and Clayton Davis of Variety talked about the awards race with festival attendees. And then we closed the afternoon with a concert by
Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino. Yes, I'm going to say the name wrong.
I was like, do you need him to pronounce it for you?
I do.
Okay.
I do. But it's also this was his thing. And we closed the evening with a screening of the Anne Hathaway and Thomasine McKenzie thriller, Eileen. So... Erotic thriller. Really?
No, I'm kidding. No.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here is just talk about the festival, kind of, the interactions that we've had. Joey, this is kind of you're kind of ill-suited to talk about this today because you were only here for a couple of hours. So we'll hit it tomorrow night, and you'll have much more to contribute.
You're just here to look pretty.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I can.
So first I want to talk about Anatomy of a Fall, which you have already seen, Joey, so you can't talk about the film, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it.
I saw it too.
Awesome.
We all... I'd like to focus a little bit less on the quality of the film, because I think we've all talked about it in some capacity on other podcasts. But we all think, I assume, that Sandra Hüller is in the conversation for Best Actress.
Yeah, I think. Oh, that's who I was leaving out earlier.
Sandra Hüller.
Yeah.
Do you have her in your top five?
I do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's top three.
I do too.
Yeah. It's a great performance, and it's going to be one that will be hard to ignore. I was milling about the festival as we were waiting in lines and things like that, and I overheard a lot of people talking about the film, saying they liked it, but they were frustrated with the ending. And I guess, would it be a spoiler to say that you don't... I mean, there's not a clear ending.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. It's out in I think it's out in New York and LA now, and it's expanding wider this coming Friday. So if people want to wait a week, they can wait a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like the buzz on it is good. I don't know that it's Best Picture. A lot of people that we've talked to in the film Twitter world, Oscar world, seem to think that it's in for picture, and she's Justine Triet would be in for director. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's in right now. I don't know if that. I think it would probably be in like slot like 9 or 10 maybe, but I think that what you go away with besides Sandra Hüller's performance is the direction. It's just so tightly wound that I think I could see her getting into 5. I would say if people aren't predicting her now, she's probably like 6 or 7, maybe 8. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have her in my director, but I do have it in picture. I think in my 8 or 9 spot, and I do have Sandra Hüller, or however you say it. I can't do it. Yeah, Clarence says it very well. I do have her in my 5 at the moment. We have a couple big contenders to see this week with Natalie Portman in May December and
Carey Mulligan
in Maestro. So I do have it in screenplay as well, I believe. And I think, aside from performance, I think the direction's terrific, but I think the screenplay is also very tight and well done.
I agree.
The screenplay is definitely getting in. It is a fantastic screenplay, and I think, coming from an American perspective, I found the French legal drama to be extraordinarily compelling.
Yeah.
It's so different than the American legal system. Just the way it's kind of all laid out, and the way that so much emotion and supposition and kind of conjecture is brought into the proceedings. I definitely think. I mean, you could see it getting into Best Picture because of the 10. I'm probably not. I would not have her in my 5. I think there's probably a slot for a foreign director. But I think it is. Yes, for director.
Yeah.
Sandra Hüller, I think she's in top 3.
Oh, sorry.
But that's Mark's alarms.
That's my atorvastatin reminder.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was your bedtime alarm.
It's from the medicine I have to take every night. It's old.
But I mean, the screenplay. I think the screenplay could be a long shot contender to win. Even, I mean, it's so intricately structured. I think.
And I think I think her name is Justine Triet that directed it. Did she write it to it?
She did. It was
so that'd be a way to
with her
recognize
husband.
it. Yeah. Oh, is it really with her husband?
I think so.
That's awesome.
Exercising
that
some
adds
marital
a layer.
escort.
I didn't know that.
That adds a little layer to it.
And again, I think people are liking it. It's interesting. And I'm not sure exactly why, but the Middleburg Film Festival seems to have become a pretty popular or well-known stop on the Oscar circuit. And it's interesting because it's not like, I mean, it is 30 minutes outside of DC, but I don't know that there's a lot of overlap with Academy members here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would say the average age of festival attendees would be 40s, if not higher.
Probably higher.
Yeah. I mean, it is an older crowd. It is an affluent crowd, I would argue. Maybe it's because it's your kind of average Academy voter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of walkers so far. I saw at least 3. So I mean that's also part of an Academy member
criteria.
DNA. So yes.
Mark and I attended a gathering last night to kick off the festival. There are a couple of actors here who are either receiving waivers or they were never members of SAG.
Yeah.
Christian, I don't remember his last name, Friedel, from Zone of Interest was here. He received an award. As I mentioned, Kaylee Spenny was here. She has a waiver as an A24 film. But we had a good time at the party last night. Chatted it up with Jazz and Clayton, as well as Ryan McQuaid from Awards Watch, yep, and others. Who else did we meet? Oh, we met Michael Giacchino.
Yes.
normally that crowd is there's a lot more there. But had a good conversation with Netflix people.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Good folks.
So today, Mark and I kicked it off with Priscilla. Mark, why don't you talk about Priscilla?
Oh, good. So yeah, it's a Sofia Coppola film. Very on brand with what the types of films she's made before. And Kaylee Spaney, is that how you say her name? I thought she was terrific. I think she's going to be one of those folks that pops up on a lot of breakthrough performer lists. She's the best part of the movie. The costumes and hair and makeup is all terrific as well. And Jacob Elordi is a pretty spectacular Elvis. I thought he mumbles a little bit through it, but he's got the Elvis, the husky voice down, and for as far as the film went, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I loved the first act. I thought kind of watching them fall for each other. I thought they did a nice job building that up, and from there it kind of just stayed one note and didn't do a whole lot for me. And then I think we talked about how the ending felt a little rushed, but a solid movie. A mild thumbs up for me is what I mentioned.
Yeah, you're seeing it tomorrow, Joey, right?
Yes.
I liked it more than you did, Mark, but I will agree that it spends a lot of time reiterating a single theme, which is Elvis basically curated her, almost groomed her, I would say.
It's big on that.
Yeah,
Grooming.
definitely.
What's the other word they?
We'll just call it grooming.
There's some kind of
Did
light.
they use that in the movie?
No,
But it's
that's a 2023 word.
Right. That was what I was like.
And he also does, what's the other one? Gaslights her a lot.
Yes, well, and it's a little bit. She's sweet, innocent, young. Her parents are terrible parents because they let this go on. And Elvis was a terrible person because he was on drugs and was mean to her and was basically brought her to Graceland and installed her in her castle and then left her alone and never wanted her to leave. Yeah. And then it spends a lot of time on that. There's a lot of scenes of her playing basically... It's almost like a perverse version of Barbie, where she's just stuck in this house, and she's and he's dressing her. He's telling her how to dye her hair.
But he gets her a dog.
And he gets her a dog. Yes, that she carries around.
Yeah, so she's got that.
So are there like amazing clothing montages?
Yes,
there's one. Yeah, there's one where they go shopping together.
It's a. What did you say when I said it's a Sofia Coppola film? You immediately described the first
blues
5 minutes.
And pinks
I said blues and pinks and
airbrushes
and makeup. And
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm down. I'm really excited to see it now.
I would agree with you on the awards trajectory. The people that I have talked to around the festival, they did complain about Jacob Elordi not being able to hear his dialogue because he mumbles quite a bit. I think part of that is him being Elvis and giving a mumbling performance, and part of it is the fact that you just can't get around that Middleburg doesn't have theaters; they have conference rooms, and so they do the best that they can with the sound setup, but it's not a surround movie theater.
Yeah.
But it was a good film. Kaylee Spaney was there. She talked a lot about meeting with Priscilla. That was the other thought that I had. You can definitely tell that Priscilla Presley herself had some influence on the outcome here. But it makes an interesting parallel with Elvis, the Baz Luhrmann film from last year.
Yeah.
But I would say if you've seen a Sofia Coppola film, you know what to expect here. A lot of people at the festival were talking about the fact that Kaylee Spaney won Best Actress at Venice. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some kind of stat where if an American actress wins, she almost is certain to be nominated for Best Actress. I read that. Yeah. I mean, last year you had Penelope. No, not Penelope.
No, it was Kate Blanchett won for Tar, but she's not.
But she was nominated, yeah.
Also not American.
Yeah.
True. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the stat was. I just don't see her getting in a weaker year. Yes. But we've talked about I mean, as we drove down the winding, dark, twisty, Sleepy Hollow-esque roads, there's like 7 or 8 actresses that are fighting for 5 slots, and legitimately any one of them could win.
Well, you could also say that, like, if there wasn't, like, another critical darling in there, like, I could see in a different year, this not having seen it, Kaylee being, like, the critic's choice, but I feel like that is going to be Sandra Hüller.
Yeah.
Or Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
For
right.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right.
Yep. Or
Yes. It's just it's a very crowded race. I don't even know that she makes my next 5, and that's not a slight on her performance. I thought she was great, but there's just so many performances, and we haven't seen a few of them too. We have Fantasia still coming from Color Purple, and there's a couple others I'm gonna draw a blank on now. But yeah, I mean it's like 10 deep before I get to her.
Yeah.
But if she got in, would I be surprised? No, it's a good performance, and I'm sure there was I'm sure it was a difficult thing. She talked a little bit in the Q&A after about seeing it with Priscilla next to her at the theater, and Priscilla saying to her afterwards that it felt like she was watching her life go by, while watching it. So that, that's a great compliment. That's the endorsement of the person you're playing. So, I'm excited to see what she does next. If nothing else, Priscilla gives us Kaylee Spaney, and I'm excited about that.
Agreed. As I mentioned, the next thing that we did was the coffee and I want to call it coffee and cigarettes, but
Coffee and Contenders.
Coffee and Contenders conversation with Jazz Tangay and Clayton Davis, our friends from Variety. Why don't you talk about some of the big themes that they discussed? Yeah,
so that's one of the annual traditions here. I think Clayton said they've been doing it for 7 years. I think it was his brainchild and whatnot. So they talk about the Oscar race. Clayton talked a lot about the strike and how that's impacting, films from being promoted, and impacts the film festival circuit too, which then impacts the campaigning that all goes on for awards. So that was a big part, I think, of the conversation. And then they opened it up to the floor for questions, and there was a lot of talk about the acting categories, which all 4 seem very, very loaded right now, which I think this time of year it usually does feel that way because we haven't really crossed folks off yet. People like Kaylee Spaney are still in the conversation, whereas 2 months from now, if she's not showing up anywhere, then she won't be in the conversation, right? So that was the big, I think, talk that I kind of took from it and remembered. What am I forgetting?
I was trying to think about some of the questions that came from the audience members, kind of the festival goers, kind of what was on their mind. And I'm admittedly I'm a little tired, so I'm drawing a little bit of a blank. But there was conversations about the strike.
Yep.
There was a question about that. And one of the impacts, I don't think that this is a spoiler to say, but one of the impacts that we're watching from the strike is whether or not The Color Purple will be allowed to have a original song to compete, because Fantasia Barrino has not been able to record it because of the strike. That film is set to premiere to mass audiences within the awards and critics and things like that in the middle of November. So if they don't settle the strike within the next couple of weeks, I don't think it will be allowed to compete.
Yeah.
She won't be allowed to record.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know.
Well, there was also there was a rumor that we heard here at the festival that Bike Riders, which has been removed from the schedule of its original date of December 1st, will still have a qualifying run in 2023 and then will release wide in 2024. I don't know why they feel the need to do a qualifying run. It's just, this is an incredibly crowded year, and it had a mixed to positive reaction at Telluride.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I don't think anybody really seemed down on it. It just, there was varying degrees of how much that I liked it a lot. I think.
I did.
I don't know that it's an awards type of movie, and that doesn't mean anything about it being a quality movie. It's just less awards. Is it recording while that happens or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hi, we're back.
And we're back.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like an awards type film. I think its best shot was probably Jodie Comer.
Yep.
I thought she was great in it, and I know there were certain complaints about her accent, but yeah, I think them probably making it an awards player. I wonder how much. I forget what studio has that. Do you remember? Is it Focus?
No, it's 20th Century Fox because it's Disney.
Okay, so I wonder what 20th Century Fox has on its agenda for next year. Maybe they needed to get it in this year.
Well, I think Disney's going to spend any campaign money that it has. They will seriously push it toward Poor Things, which is Searchlight.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And so they will definitely push that. I think that's their best contender this year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember other questions, but there was questions about, you asked a question about the toughest category to predict, and Clayton came back with what, supporting actor?
Clayton thought supporting actor, Jazz thought lead actress. I kind of lean with Jazz in that regard right now, but that being said, supporting actor is the hardest, I think, to figure out who the front runner is, because you have Robert De Niro and Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of those names that you're throwing around. Oh, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Like, I could see any of them winning. So who's the front runner?
Mark Ruffalo is fantastic at Poor Things.
He's my front
When
runner.
do you see
right
that?
now.
November 6th.
Okay.
When that invite hit my inbox, I freaked out. So.
I think you're really going to like it.
Yeah.
So that was a great conversation, and we'll obviously be hanging out with Clayton and with Jazz at least tomorrow. I know they've got some. They're going to run off to the SCAD Savannah Film Festival on Sunday. All right. So after that, what do? We wait.
Michael.
Yes. Talk about this event that your most anticipated event.
Yeah,
of the
this is
festival.
yeah. I mean, I'm really excited about quite a few films here, but I am an enormous fan of the TV series Lost. That was one of my, if not my favorite show of all time. And Michael Giacchino, that's how I came to know him as a composer. He did the music for that show. And for those who watch that show, you know that the music from it is one of the reasons it was so good, I think. Right? Music has that ability to, draw us in and, manipulate the emotions a little bit. And, the music from that was incredible. So that to me was the highlight of the festival. I wanted to make sure I got a good seat for it, and so we skipped a couple movies to make sure we were there in time. And we got front row, and it was, I thought, worth it. It was pretty incredible. He, Michael Giacchino, aside from Lost, you would know his music from The Incredibles, from Up, which he won the Oscar for.
Ratatouille.
I don't know if Ratatouille.
He did not.
They didn't play Ratatouille.
They did not play Ratatouille, but he
Did he do that for sure?
He did.
Okay.
Trek. That was his other Oscar nomination.
Okay. Star Trek, the Batman, which those two I thought sounded incredible live with the orchestra that was there, and
Doctor Strange,
yeah, and Spider-Man, some of those, and then Netflix has I think it's Spain's official entry, which is Society of the Snow.
Yes.
Which is, if you've seen the movie Alive from like 1994, 95, somewhere in there, with Ethan Hawke and a few other actors, the soccer movie, the Argentinian soccer team, I think it is, that crashes in the Andes Mountains. Some soccer team, I can't remember which country, I apologize. Anyway, that's a remake of that, and so Michael Giacchino did the score for it, and this was the first live audience that it played for, and they brought out a choral group to sing along to the orchestra, and it was quite amazing. So it's one of those moments that, at film festivals, it's always great getting to see the films, but there's usually a highlight like that becomes a great memory, and for me that was definitely what that was. Yeah.
One thing that many people have said, I'm not going to pin on this on one person, but what many people have said to us is, why are you seeing this, or why are you doing that? That's not going to be in Oscar contention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a film festival. It's your opportunity to see things that you might not necessarily see, do things you might not necessarily see, connect with people that you don't necessarily connect with. It isn't always 100% about Oscar movies. I'm going to use this as a segue here in a second, but I will say, I
Segue. Apparently, balloons.
Why did balloons just appear? That was weird. Okay, Pennywise.
Happy birthday.
I'm excited for Eileen.
The Society of the Snow, I blanked for a second, so forgive me if you said this, but the Society of the Snow score sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
I do think that might be some kind of contender.
Yeah, I do too.
But he is not always a guaranteed, I mean, if this had been John Williams, it would have been in for sure. He is not a guaranteed quantity because last year the Batman didn't even make the 15 shortlist. I mean, it's a fantastic score.
Of the year.
I don't know what happened there. I have to think that, I don't know, that he has to be liked. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we got to speak to him for
He's a
little bit.
nicest
last night,
guy.
Again today, super nice, super genuine, light-hearted, pleasant guy.
Very young looking, apparently, from the pictures you showed me.
Yeah.
Several standing ovations. You know,
yeah.
this crowd loved him. And if it were based on this crowd, he would be nominated again
Right.
for Society of the Snow. But we'll see. Society of the Snow feels like one of those. I haven't seen it yet. It is playing here at the festival. I don't think we're going to get the chance to see it. So this is going to be a post-festival viewing for me, at least. It does feel like one of those things that Netflix just has a lot on its plate.
Yeah.
And
They usually do.
you just, it might just slip through the cracks.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So we closed our night after a delicious meal at the
Red Pony or something.
it was a pub.
Yeah, someplace.
We ate outside in a haze of marijuana.
Yeah.
We did not smoke, but there was someone around us that was smoking. I didn't even know it was legal. But anyway, we saw Eileen. Joey, why don't you tell us about Eileen? You haven't done a lot of talking here.
Please.
Eileen, unfortunately, like I said before the movie started, is not the biopic of the late, great Eileen Brennan. Which, in my mind, if you go into that movie with that mentality, you might have a good time. It's set in the...
It just could not. So, Joey had me doubled over with laughter, imagining Anne Hathaway in that Eileen
Mrs.
wig,
Peacock.
Mrs. Peacock wig from Clue. Anyway. And sorry, before you continue, just say, you have to also imagine that we're sitting in the back of this theater and there's a crowd of 50 plus women behind us, and we hear a lot of sloshing. And then, we're kind of figuring out what's going on. They're pouring things out, and then all of a sudden we hear, cheers! And
In the middle of the movie.
This was not their first beverage of the evening. So, Joey, continue. What's this movie about?
So basically, if you're going to go see this movie, make sure that you watch the other people go in and sit in front of a bunch of older women who are having a good time. They're having a great time. Help with the experience. So set in the 50s.
60s. Yeah, because Lyndon B. Johnson.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, 64.
Yeah.
Thompson McKenzie plays a young lady who works at a boys' prison. She's not a secretary. And she is enraptured with...
It was a bug on me. I was like, sorry.
I thought you were doing a hand gesture from a prison. I wasn't sure.
I'm sorry, there was a bug on me.
It's fine. Please. As soon as she sees Anne Hathaway's car, the red car, pull into the parking lot, she's a little obsessed with her. She's the new psychologist at this prison and becomes... man, she masturbates a lot in this movie. But then, like, the first 10 minutes, I was like, she's doing it there, she's doing it there, she's doing it everywhere. She has an alcoholic father, played by Shea Wiggum.
Always reliable, that Shea Wiggum.
He's good.
Yeah, sturdy. He's got, like, Margot Martindale sturdiness. And they get closer. There's, like, a mysteriousness to Anne Hathaway. You don't really sort of know. I think we all were saying that, like, is she real? Is she not? And the infatuation gets a little crazy by the end. Not just the infatuation, but, like, what they end up doing together. I was waiting for someone to say cunnilingus in the movie. I was waiting for it, and no one said it. And there's so many times that I wanted to lean over to and just go, someone would ask a question, I want to be like, cunnilingus. But I think that would be appropriate. So, yeah.
I mean, considering the viewing experience we had, I don't think it would have mattered. No matter what you think you know about this film, you do not know where it goes. And it feels like script A, they filmed it up to this point, and then they picked up script B, completely different movie, and just whacked that right on in. And
hired an Andrea Riseborough lookalike. She's not.
Really not good.
Yeah, no, there's really not a lot.
I don't know what that was. Let's just continue.
Yeah, more knocking from the strangers outside. Yeah, there's really not, I hate when there's a movie that I don't have anything positive to say about it, but like I really can't focus on any one thing other than I guess Shea Wiggum was good. Anne Hathaway's fine in it.
Anne Hathaway's leaning into a camp. She's giving a very camp performance.
Wig.
And a wig, in a Hitchcock blonde wig. And I thought it was going down this kind of Hitchcock kind of Marnie, because it takes place in '64. That's when Marnie was released. Okay. It's got opening credits that look kind of like Marnie, but it's not. It's just it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Even like for a throwaway silly thriller. You could tell that the audience was not into it because even the drunk women behind us, what
audience? I don't know what word we keep using that has.
I don't know why. Anyway, the drunk women behind us were like they were stone cold silent. And this is after at one point, at multiple times in the film, something happens and one of the women goes ruh-roh several times. And and Shea Wiggum's character is again Thomas C. McKenzie's father in the film, and he is rough on her. And one of the women just hissed out, "Well, he's a fucking asshole." Just like, may everyone have an experience like that in watching this film if you do choose to see it in the theater. I do think your original statement of Carol, as if it were directed by Ryan Murphy, still applies.
Yeah,
still applies.
That's a pretty good summary.
So, not an Oscar contender?
No.
I still think Anne Hathaway could get nominated for a Golden Globe just because that's a very Golden Globe-y thing. Old-timey Golden Globe-y kind of thing.
Yeah, and we have no idea how this Golden Globe situation is going to even play out.
No, but I don't think they're going to do anything silly.
No. Yeah, well, this would be silly, so.
No. Salmon fishing in the Yemen.
Yeah.
I mean, costumes maybe, but the costumes, costumes are going to be taken up by 5 categories, going to be taken up by 4 films. Barbie, Killers, Oppenheimer, Poor Things.
Yeah. It's going to eat up a lot of nominations between those 4.
And almost every category, I think, is going to be taken up by those 4 films. And then one kind of random.
Yeah. Figure out what goes in.
Oh, it's going to be so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Maestro is going to eat up a lot of the other spots too. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
well, apparently, according to Jazz Tankay, who was talking about Maestro, and Clayton actually, they were talking about the makeup.
Oh, yeah.
The much maligned nose. When you actually see it in the film, he apparently looks just like Leonard Bernstein. And they're already predicting that he not only gets nominated, but he wins his 3rd Oscar for Maestro. But we'll see on Sunday.
Who wins his 3rd? The makeup guy?
The makeup artist.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, in some of those pictures, I was just like, oh, like the older.
Yeah.
It's the Japanese artist who did
the Charlize Theron one, the
Bombshell. And he did Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
For Gary Oldman.
Yeah, right.
Which we should know his name. I don't have my phone with me, so forgive me. So tomorrow we are doing the Nicolas Cage film.
Yeah, that one.
Dream Scenario.
Scenario.
There you go.
Then we are catching one of my most anticipated films of the festival, which is, and you guys as well, American Fiction, which won the Audience Award at TIFF. Yeah. We're also going to catch, you're going to see Saltburn.
Yes.
Mark and I are going to see The Taste of Things, the Juliette Binoche France's selection for international feature, submission for the international feature over Anatomy of a
Yeah, I
Fall.
was gonna say we should mention that since we talked about Anatomy of a Fall earlier. France went with the taste of things, so we'll see how the two compare.
And then Joey, you're going to catch up to Priscilla, so when we record our
Yes.
next one, you should be able to weigh in on whether or not Mark and I are wrong, and then or right. And then we're going to close our evening with David Fincher's The Killer,
Yes, I
And
can't.
then we're gonna come back to this house.
assuming we are not
try
murdered
not to
by
be.
a
Yeah,
killer.
that's true.
Right.
There are no curtains.
I know there are no curtains. There's no curtain in the bathroom, right in front of the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that I don't mind.
All right.
This
So-
has been Three Guys and a Couch.
That's it. Anything else? I wonder if the balloons appeared on the camera. We'll have to see.
I know that's pretty.
That was
nice.
random. All right. So we will catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.
Bye.